What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and we've got our Week 4 power rankings for the ACC. Do have some good bit of changes this week in the ACC, starting with our last place team, and that is Pittsburgh. Yes, this team is really struggling right now. I know they've played some tough teams, but they just couldn't get the job done against Georgia Tech. Weren't really competitive in that game, and their only win is against Youngstown State. So yeah, I've got them at number 14. I have dropped them a little bit. Number 13, a team that played pretty well this past weekend, but still came away with a loss, and that's Syracuse. This team looks like they're getting better. I think they have improved from last year, and I think they'll win a couple of games here in the ACC. But as of now, we got to keep them down here at number 13 because they just haven't really done a whole lot. Number 12 is Boston College. Kind of the same story with them. You know, they competed with Clemson for about 3 quarters. Then Clemson obviously pulled away, but I've been a little disappointed with this team. I thought they were going to be better this year, and maybe we should flip-flop Syracuse and Boston College. I think Syracuse maybe looks a little better right now, but we're going to keep it like this for now. Number 11 is North Carolina. Another loss for them as they lose to Duke. The struggles continue for this team, especially on defense. The offense has been pretty good this year, but that defense is just not good at all. One of the worst really in college football, I would have to say. So they come in at number 11, and a team jumping all the way up from last place in number 10, it's Virginia. How about that win over Boise State? And not only did they win the game, they blew them out on the blue field. That was an impressive win. Virginia really looking like they are improved, and maybe I should have had them a little higher last week. Just wasn't too sure about them. All right, the number 9 team, really from 9 on up, the rest of these teams look pretty good. Duke is undefeated. Really the next few teams could be ranked anyway, like 9 through 7 definitely. But I do have Duke at number 9, undefeated, looking good. They've won several games now against Power 5 teams. Wake Forest, a close win over Appalachian State. They have looked good. They had that blowout win over Boston College. They continue to win. They're undefeated. So 2 undefeated teams here that are trying to climb on up here in these rankings up towards the top, and so far so good for them. And number 7 is Georgia Tech. I know they have the loss to Tennessee, but they look really good against Pitt. And you could definitely make the argument that Duke and Wake Forest should be ahead of Georgia Tech because they're undefeated, but I think Georgia Tech is going to be a really solid team this year. So I still got them ranked a little bit higher at number 7. And at number 6, we got a team that is falling fast. A team that hasn't won a football game, and that is Florida State at number 6. They lose to NC State. They're now 0-2. Obviously, they couldn't play a couple of games. A cupcake game and then Miami. What if they had lost to Miami? They would really be in trouble right now. Fortunate for them, they have some more time to prepare for that game with the freshman quarterback. Number 5 is Louisville. I think this is the same spot they were in last week. They got a blowout win. Their only wins are against Purdue and North Carolina, so don't really have that impressive win just yet, and they couldn't really compete with Clemson, so not really sure how good this team is. Up to number 4 after a big win over Florida State, it's NC State. And you look back at that South Carolina game, if they could have found a way to win that one, this team will be undefeated, and they'd probably be in the top 15, maybe, I wouldn't say top 10, but they would be up there. So that really is a tough loss for them if they get the big win over Florida State this past weekend. And number 3 is Miami. They got off to a little bit of a slow start against Toledo. Toledo's a very solid team, but they did a nice job late in that game, pulling away, showing that they can be a really good football team. The offense is clicking for them, which was something I was a little concerned about coming into this year. But so far, so good through only 2 games for them. And then we got a matchup this weekend of number 1 and number 2 in our power rankings. Starting with number 2, it's Virginia Tech. They continue to roll. They are looking good on offense. They're looking good on defense. Really look like a complete team right now. I would say they're looking better than last season, which is not what I expected coming into this year. So I've been very impressed with this team. And we'll see if they can get that big win over Clemson coming up this weekend. And speaking of number 1, Clemson, yes, they are still in the top spot. I don't really see anybody dethroning them unless Virginia Tech can get this win. I think it's going to be an excellent game. We'll talk about that more in our ACC preview. But a slow start against Boston College. They pull away. They show even when they're having a bad game, they can just turn it on and blow you out. This team is very, very good. I still think it's the best team in college football. Alabama definitely giving them a run for their money this past weekend. So are Clemson and Alabama on a collision course for another national championship? That's the big question. Right now it looks that way, but a lot of football is left. So yeah, Clemson comes in number 1 in our power rankings heading into week 5 of the college football season. What do you think about them? What would you change from my power rankings? Who would you move up? Who would you move down? That's going to do it for this episode. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more here on the SG1 Sports YouTube channel.